Today's daily LeetCode problem today is find valid matrix given row and column sums, number 1605. For this problem, we're given two arrays, row sum and column sum, both of non-negative integers. Row sum of I is the sum of the elements in the ith row. Column sum of j is the sum of the elements in the jth column. And this is in a 2D matrix. We do not know the elements of the matrix, but we know the sums of the rows and the columns. We want to find any matrix of non-negative integers that satisfies the requirements of our rows and column sums to build this 2D integer array. So as we can see in the example, our row sums are 3 and 8. So that means our first row is going to equate to 3. Our second row will equate to 8. Our column sum is 4 and 7. So our first column will equal 4. Our second column will equal 7. For this problem, we want to take a greedy approach. So the first minimum value, either, let's say we're looking at 3 and 4, we're going to put 3 first and subtract 3 from both of them. Then when we get to our next row, the row sum is 8, and we have 4 minus 3, so it's 1. We're going to put 1 here. So first thing we want to do is initialize our 2D array. Integer 2D array, we could call it out is equal to a new integer 2D array. For our rows are going to be row sum dot length, and for our columns, it's going to be column sum dot length. For our greedy approach, we're basically going to use a nested loop that's going to iterate through each value and modifying it as we come across it. So for integer I is equal to 0, as long as I is less than our row sum dot length. So it's going to iterate through our rows. I plus plus for integer j is equal to 0, as long as j is less than our column sum dot length. J plus plus, that will iterate through each column that we have. We're going to identify an integer x. X is going to be the math dot minimum between our row sum of I and our column sum of j. Once we identify this minimum value between our row sum of I and column sum of j, we're going to subtract that value from both our row sum and our column sum because we're adding that to our matrix. So row sum of I minus equals x, and column sum of j minus equals x. Now we add it to our output array. So out of I of j is equal to x. Then we can simply return our output. So if we run this, passes our test cases, and if we submit it, and it passes all solutions. So let's check this out in Python. Solution, it's pretty similar. It's just a different way to initialize our arrays. So we're going to have arrays is equal to, it's going to be 0 times the length of call sum, and then it's going to be 4 underscore in range of length of row sum to initialize our 2D array. Then we simply have to go through our nested loop again. So for I in range length of row sum, for j in range of length column sum, and then it's going to be x is equal to the minimum of row sum of I, comma, column sum of j, and then row sum of I minus equals x, column sum of j minus equals x, and then our arrays of I of j will be equal to x. Then we can return arrays. We run this, passes our test cases, and if we submit it, passes all solutions. Thank you, and follow for more daily LeetCode solutions.